Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Mermaid Mystic YouTube and Substack channel. Today, I have a new moon in Leo reading for anyone who stumbles upon this. So, as always, I'm just going to dive right into the reading. So, if you want to grab yourself a cup of tea or a pen and paper to make notes, pause the video and go right ahead. Otherwise, we're going to dive right in. So the new moon, I'm doing this reading on a Wednesday, and the new moon is tomorrow. I'm doing this because the time before the new moon is excellent for doing some self-reflecting and to go into our subconscious to see what we need to release. We want to do this because our subconscious kind of runs us. There's this great quote from Carl Jung who says that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. I like to think about unseen issues in the unconscious as puppet strings that are kind of just controlling me. Well, that's one of the reasons when we go to start like a new routine that's going to be really good for us. But let's say we only do it for like a week or so and you just fall back into bad habits. Oftentimes it's because there is some unaddressed issue in the subconscious that is holding us back. This could be anything from deep beliefs that we're not worthy of succeeding, or that doing what we love and succeeding at it is impossible, or that we are not worthy of love. There are so many different stories that could be writing our lives for us from the unconscious. So that's why the waning moon is such a powerful period to do that inner reflection, to understand what we want to release. This is, by the way, one of the many gifts of tarot readings. I know we get really excited about tarot being a predictive tool. It sounds really cool. It sounds magical. Wow, we can predict the future. To a degree, it is. Yeah, it's really cool. But I mean, what's really ultimately the coolest is that tarot can help us understand what in our subconscious still needs some love or needs to be seen or is holding us back, so that we can intentionally create the future that we desire, so that we can take the creative power back into our own hands and heart instead of assuming it rests within a deck of cards. So that is what we're going to start with for this reading. We're going to start with, what are we releasing, so that the new seeds that we plant at this new moon have a chance to not just be planted, but to grow into something really lasting, something that we can sustain. So let's explore what that is. So what we are releasing before we plant our seeds is the Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands is very fun. So this is just a great reminder that there are no good or bad cards. Had the Knight of Wands been in the new moon seeds that we're planting, we would have read this in a different way. But this is what we want to release. So the Knight of Wands, without using words good or bad, is spontaneous, enthusiastic, ready for adventure, reckless, irresponsible, and doesn't always stick around. So sometimes we need the spontaneity, right? And the enthusiasm and this like charismatic bravado that makes this character confident and very charming and alluring. But then on the other hand, we have some of the immature aspects. So not being reliable, not sticking around, not being responsible. The sense that I am getting with this Knight of Wands is that we are ready to pull up from our subconscious and examine the roots or the beliefs that we have about doing things just at a shallow, superficial level. Now, we live in a world that puts, like, I would say, too much emphasis just on appearances, judging a person just by their job or how they look, right? That doesn't really tell us that much. There's so much more to a person than just the egoic expression. Now, our egos aren't bad, and having like a personality like my name is Jenny, right? Our ages and what we do, none of that's bad, but it's not actually meant to be the definer of all that we are. Nothing's really supposed to limit us or define us necessarily, by the way. So this to me suggests that too much has been running us related to what will people think? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to look? We're doing too many things for the likes, too many things for the approval of others, and getting confused with what our true dreams and values are because of what we've been taught that they should be. So I'm getting this sense when I was pulling these cards and sitting with them, we're almost being like too obedient. Like we're being too obedient to what the media tells us is attractive in a person. We're being too obedient into what we were taught was important to make money or value ourselves. Now, if you were, there's going to be good things you were taught about beauty or money, certainly. This isn't to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But there are some beliefs and some agreements in the subconscious in this card that suggest that a lack of connection with our truth is making us too focused on superficial things. So we might be holding ourselves back from things because we think we're not pretty enough or smart enough or whatever enough based on a metric created by a society, which isn't about good or bad, but it's just kind of showing that it might not be in alignment with your truth. So we want to really just be super honest. That's the thing with going into the subconscious. It's not going to be flattering, but there's no chance of creating beauty if we can't go and look at these places. So we have to just be like, hold a lot of compassion for ourselves. So we just want to explore, where am I being superficial? Where am I only kind of grazing the surface of things because I care more about how I look than the true content, than the true meat of what I want to experience and create. So that's what we are releasing. Too much for the likes, any kind of shallowness, and just how we're supposed to look. And thinking that we get love that way. Now, this is very beautiful. So the seeds that we're planting this new moon in Leo, the Ace of Cups, which is really cool. Ace is our new beginning. So I just love that we got an ace for the seeds that we're planting at the new moon. The Ace of Cups is this beautiful fountain, this river that runs through us of love, of beauty, of creativity, of compassion, of spiritual connection and intuition. It is like a waterfall that doesn't stop flowing. Now, the reason this never stops flowing is that because this water, this flow, is not sourced from other people's approval of you. This water, this source, comes from within. So you are connected to the most authentic spark of your existence, your soul and your spirit. And when you are connected to that truth, the other stuff doesn't matter as much. It starts to just fall away. So we want to plant the seeds of, from now on, I am operating from the river of love in my spirit and my soul. And from this place, we're not kind of so impatiently desperate like the Knight of Wands. We're not trying so many things that people like us so that we can just, okay, quickly, let me just get that. I'm just gonna do that weekend course and then I can be a Reiki master and then I can leave my job. Or like, I'm just gonna start this Instagram page and then it's gonna blow up and then all my problems are gonna be solved, right? We're not like desperately, impatiently seeking things to fix the problems quickly that are really still just about quick fixes and shallowness, right? So we are going to release that. And then we really plant the seeds, like however you're going to phrase it for whatever's going on in your life, that you love yourself fully by connecting to the love within your soul. So your love is no longer dependent upon how many people think you're attractive or how much money is in your bank account or what kind of house you have or how many followers you have or no, right? So you are going to connect to the love of your authentic self. You are now connecting to the river of inspiration and love and flow that comes from your spirit. And your spirit is connected to the all that is. So this is the immortal, never-ending part of yourself that we all have. So for some people, this might just be like, that's a thing. Maybe the seed that you're planting is just an awareness in that and an openness to believe it and experience it. But depending on where you are, you might be like, I know this. And now we're going to plant seeds that is the place from which you now operate. Oh, isn't that beautiful? That's a pretty deep level. I will say the Ace of Cups is love. So for anyone watching this, I mean, Leo season, Leo in medical astrology is connected to the heart. Leo loves love and courage comes from the heart, right? So at this time, this is all about love, but we're going to source from our soul instead of looking for love from other people. There's this great quote from the author Kimberly Snyder, who I like very much, who says that we have this illusion that we get love from other people, but this is not true. All of the love that's ever existed exists already within us it is awoken by the people that we choose to connect with, and by the gifts that we choose to give the world, and by that which we choose to nurture and grow in our lifetime. So I really feel that when we actually connect to our soul's gifts, the callings, the yearnings that we are meant to develop in this lifetime, we have this kind of natural sense of fulfillment. And from this place, we're kind of not like desperately trying to get approval and love, because we have that fulfillment within. And then we naturally actually just draw in and like magnetize the love and the beautiful relationships. So this would suggest, if you are someone who is looking for more love at this time, like you do want a romantic relationship, or you would like more love in your romantic relationship, or perhaps you would like more friendship, perhaps you would simply like more self-love, then the key then is to connect to your most authentic inner spark, to your soul, and let that flow through you. And from this place, you will naturally gravitate to and have people gravitated towards you who are in alignment with your heart and your soul. So no shallow, okay, superficial, not real connections. And that goes for also the paths that you'll be choosing, what you want to create and share with the world. It is less about what will that Instagram page look like and what will my cool name be. Not that that isn't a fun part of it, but that's not got to be the starting point. The starting point is like, what's coming from my soul? What do I really authentically want to create? It's got to come from the truth. And then how that looks, okay, can be an authentic expression of the truth, instead of like, I just want it to look a certain way, right? So we're going for like depth and real truth, instead of just flashy, shiny. It can be flashy and shiny, but only once we've connected to the truth of what we are and what we're expressing and sharing with the world. So lastly, where will this lead us? This will lead us to the Three of Cups. So remember, we talked about, if we can let go of that Knight of Wands, just be aware of it so that it no longer controls us. And if we plant those seeds of the Ace of Cups, then if we grow it and nurture the Ace of Cups, we're continuing to nurture, connecting to our true soul and letting that flow through us, and honoring the creativity and love and compassion that flows through us, then that leads us to the Three of Cups. Now, the Three of Cups is a very good time. The Three of Cups is joyful friendships and celebrations. It's abundance, but it's definitely abundance also in our relationships. So it can for sure be like material abundance, but in this case, which is a beautiful part of life as well, right? Like that's not shallow. We are physical beings. So enjoying physical beauty isn't shallow. Beauty is like one of the things, actually, from a shamanic lens, that we are meant to create in this lifetime. We just don't want to get caught up in vanity, right? Beauty is an energy and an essence. So in the Three of Cups, we do have the abundance of beauty, and we have an abundance of joyful relationships. So this isn't about quantity, this is about quality. So you definitely have friendships who are like heart bonds. This is like the soul family, this kind of thing. People who you feel really love you and see you and celebrate you. You love and celebrate those people. You all love each other for who you truly are, not just the egoic expressions. And then this does create just like all forms of inspiration and creativity, which are forms of abundance in our lives. This can be music, dancing, laughter, just celebrations, the stuff that makes life really quite rich. Okay, my friends, so that is your new moon in Leo reading. Thank you so much for coming to me. If there's anything that you wish to explore, the readings I offer and the shamanic healing services I offer are all about going into that subconscious to discover what is holding us back and to bring forth your most beautiful gifts. So you can check out my Etsy for readings. You can check out my booking page for shamanic healing sessions and for tarot mentoring that does this exact thing. Thank you so much for being here, my friends. Wishing you all a very beautiful Leo season. All the best.